Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'll be showing you how I get into my robe à la Française, including everything that goes underneath it. I made each element with the exception of the stockings and shoes and hope that other hobbyists can enjoy seeing how they all go together. So let's get started. The first step is always the chemise or shift. This protected the outer layers from the wearer's sweat or natural oils and added some padding between the stays boning and the body. The next is a pair of stockings. These were usually made of silk, wool, linen, or a blend of these fibers. They rolled over or under the knee and were fastened with simple garters, which I don't have. Shoes go on directly after this. It's very important to put your shoes on before your stays, unless you happen to have a lady's maid who can put them on for you. While stays do not restrict most movement, bending over in fully boned stays can still be challenging. The next step is an under petticoat, the first of several. This is pleated at the waist and fastens with tapes, a pair in the front and a pair in the back. This way of fastening allowed for a huge variation in waist circumference, good either for the changing figure or even for a different wearer. The layering of petticoats created skirt volume and gave extra warmth. One of the most important pieces of the whole ensemble is what is next: stays. Stays came in many varieties. Back lacing, front lacing or both, with or without straps, fully or half boned, and made in a variety of fabrics. These stays are fully boned and covered with silk taffeta, which would be appropriate for a high-class lady who could afford fancy underwear that gave her the most fashionable look. As you can see, they are front lacing only. While this is less common than front lacing stays with an additional back closure, this form still existed. They also have a stomacher to fit between the lacing gap and help compress the bosom. A common misconception about stays is that they were uncomfortable or oppressive. This is not the case at all. Even quite tightly laced, these are merely supportive. They create the fashionable conical silhouette without causing bodily harm. Next is another layer that is essential to the correct silhouette: pocket hoops. Many different skirt supports existed throughout the century to create varied skirt shapes, including square hoops, panniers, false rumps, and bum rolls. Pocket hoops not only gave a fashionable look, they also functioned as enormous pockets, which is very handy. After this is another petticoat. One can never have too many petticoats. This adds yet more volume and smooths out the hoop's visible boning. It fastens the same way as the under petticoat, with slits in the side allowing the wearer to reach in and access the pockets. Time now to add a bit of jewelry. This is of course not historically accurate in the slightest, but it's the closest I've got and adds a necessary sort of sparkle. Now comes the outer petticoat. This is made of silk taffeta, matching the overdress. For a fancy ensemble such as this, silk was appropriate. However, some silk petticoats had panels of cheaper fabric such as linen or cotton at the back. As this panel would remain hidden under the overdress, it would help the wearer save on cost. Many petticoats were also very elaborately trimmed. Next should be the stomacher, but I'll explain in a moment why I switched things up. This is the gown itself, a silk taffeta robe à la Française. Its distinctive watteau pleats lended its unique sack-back look. My gown has a slightly ahistorical touch, an under stomacher that laces up. This is to protect my silk stays from pins, as the dress and stomacher will ordinarily pin directly to the stays, but I don't want to mark them. Once the under stomacher is laced up, I can pin the stomacher over top. The stomacher is fringed with lace and decorated with échelles. a ladder pattern of bows decreasing in size down the front of the stomacher. Stomachers were decorated in all sorts of fancy ways, with this being one of the most common, especially during the mid-century. Next, the gown is pinned directly to the stomacher and the understomacher beneath. Historically, it would have also been pinned to the stays. Pins are concealed underneath the robings, which are clever folds of fabric, much like the lapels on a coat. The dress is pinned and the robings folded back over, creating an invisible closure. The use of pins also means that the garment is highly adjustable. Once again, perfect for a woman's changing figure or even a new wearer. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, or even buy me a coffee. All the links are in the description box. Take care, and see you next time.